Hello everyone. Today you all are going to get answer for very challenging question our today's presentation, which is the radar of every country these days. Namaste and very good evening to all. So before presenting this hot topic, let me introduce Group 19. We are group of 6: Priyadarshi Alok, Vinay Mishra, Mohammad Saeed, Sweetie Sharma, Subhajit Das, and myself Rajesh Mishra. Contributed to take you all on this wonderful presentation, that is challenges of explaining the behavior of black box AI system. Reference taken from research paper published by MIS Quarterly Executive. So challenges of explaining the behavior of black box AI system is increase in computing capacity and data volumes have led to the development of AI applications for complex tasks. Please slide change. These applications have the potentials to reduce costs, deliver new services, and improve safety and reliability. However, unlike traditional systems, AI algorithms can be black boxes, making it difficult to understand how they reach their decisions. This lack of transparency raises legal, ethical, and safety concerns. Organizations need to be able to explain the rationale behind algorithm decisions to ensure compliance, identify biases, and prevent errors. Public trust and confidence in AI-based decisions are especially crucial in the public sector. This research aims to reconcile the demand for explanations with the desire to leverage AI for business performance. Slide change, please. So let me throw a question again in front of you all. What can be done or what will you do if AI black box provide an answer which is unethical and voiding laws of respective country and its citizens? As our system are becoming intelligent day by day, it's very necessary to know how system decided the reply. Most of the times, even the programmers cannot tell you why a specific output was generated. So to explore its answer, further we need to understand meaning of AI and its types. So artificial intelligence refers to the ability of machines or computers program to perform tasks that would normally require human intelligence, such as recognizing speech, making decisions, and learning from experience. In the types of artificial intelligence, AI has its roots in computer science and in mathematics, but also draws from philosophy, psychology, and neuroscience. The field has been evolving since the 1950s and has experienced many ups and downs, with the periods of intense research followed by periods and reduced interests. So types of AI are natural language processing, neural networks, robotics and automation, computer vision, and image processing, speech recognition, and cognitive computing and reasoning. So all these types of AI making our systems day by day very intelligent. So now a framework for explaining the behavior of black box AI system. Now time to understand a framework for the behavior of black box AI system has 6 dimensions, each of which corresponds to one of the elements of the hypothetical agent. So now I invite and hand over this presentation to Mr. Saeed to explain this framework further with its dimension in detail. Saeed.
Thank you, Rajesh, for the wonderful introduction. So before we go any further, we should understand what an AI agent is, right? So we can see in this diagram that we have. So an intelligent AI consists of a training data, which goes into a model, and in return, it performs some goals. And it interacts with the environment that it provides it input, and it gives an output to it. So other environment can consist of other intelligent systems, data, and or human also. So if we go explain to the framework, right? So in on the basis of all these elements of the AI, the DBA has created the 6 dimensions. So these dimensions are the AI system model, the AI system goals, training data, input data, output data, and the environment. So if we deep dive into these 6 dimensions, we can find the explanation of the performance of the AI. Next slide, please. So here you can see that if we see a deep dive into the models, we can find the explanation of AI system logic and behavior based on the tracing and its decision-making patterns. Similarly, for goals, we can get it from the priorities or strategic bias basis from the given decision. In training data, we can get it from the characteristic of the training data. And similarly, for input data, we can also get it from the characteristics only. Next slide, please. So here you can see the output data, right? If we deep dive into it, like we can have humans examination and get the verification of the output. For example, if a human examines the validity of AI business's risk priority for a loan application, so he can make sure the rationale for the decision and he can explain the applicant into the meaningful terms. Similarly, in environment, we can get the AI agent operations on the basis of how the environment interaction is done. So after that, we will move towards the machine learning use case that the DBA had performed using all these dimensions, which will be taken care by Alok.
Yeah, thank you, Saeed. So the DBA, basically the Danish Business Authority, based on this research paper, how this DBA has implement the 6 AI framework into real project. So before starting, so based on research papers, so first we would like to know how what is this Danish Business Authority and what kind of project they run into their system. So that the Danish Business Authority, it's a so-called DBA in a sort, is an agency within the Denmark Ministry of Industry, Business and Financial Affairs. The DBA establishes its machine learning lab in 2017 to implement machine learning project for greater efficiency and scalability. The Danish lab uses Neo4j platform, Docker, Python for the development and application support for machine learning AI applications. The lab is engaged in a wider dialogue about uses of AI in government and is involved in the Danish national strategy for AI implementations. So Denmark is a world leader in a e-governance initiative globally. Moving to the next slide. So the DB, so the DB approaches to explaining the behavior of AI application is characterized by limiting the capacity of AI agents while still onboarding obtaining desired output. It takes amount of all 6 dimensions of the framework, as explained by my colleague Saeed, allowing the organization to prevent to mitigate undesired outcome. So the DBA approach to explaining the behavior of its AI application is characterized by the limiting the capacity of this AI. The approach took account of all 6 dimensions of the framework desired, as you can see depicted by this picture. The choice of AI model, the goal of AI application, the training data, input data, and output data, and boundaries of environment in which AI application operates. Going to the next slide. So, well, as per paper, so there are some factors we have to consider while implementing this AI framework. So for to control our control for input and output data. So these are you can see the data quality. So we have to ensure that input data is clean, accurate, and consistent, which will help to improve our accuracy and reliability of AI models. The second characteristic is data privacy and security, which determines the safeguard sensitive data and project against unauthorized access, breaches of data leakage, and then followed by data biasness. So it's a artificial intelligence based systems So it has even amplify existing biasness in input data. So it is essential to establish control to detect and mitigate such a biasness to ensure that AI model are fair and ethical. So data governance. So as per the law and compliance of compliance, data should be followed. All the if the data is a HIPAA and all that, but the data governance would be followed. And then followed by model explainability. So models should ensure that AI models are transparent and explainable, which will enable user to understand the decision making process and provide insight into model behavior. Moving to the next one. Uh, so next characteristic is model accuracy and performance. So based on the training data, the model should be accurate and performance. So for performing that, we have to train our model based on multiple data sets. And next one is model deployment and versioning. So while training the model, so it should have a version, so that gradually when we input the data into the model, there would be versioning inside that, and that versioning and training that model deployment and that versioning as basically a maturing that model. And the last one, that is a human oversight and intervention. So establish basically control to ensure that AI model are used appropriately and effectively to provide human oversight and intervention when necessary. So moving to the next one. So as per the paper, so the Danish Business Authority approach to explaining the behavior of AI application, and they have selected basically two projects, which is, as you can see, that is a company registration. First one, which is basically the detect fraudulent behavior among newly registered Danish companies. So and their goal is to prevent fraudulent companies from being established. And the input data is data from the business registry, annual reports, and VAT reports. And they wanted the output like they detect this probability fraudulent behavior of a company. And as for the model, they use the gradient boosting model for this project. And next one is a signature. So signature is kind of the project when a coupled of it is the document filter. Basically, they are filtering the document whether the company founding document are signed or not. So they are checking this, and their goal is to facilitate the process to founding a company. And input data is basically a scanned image and of documents, and what is the output, that is a probability of document being signed or not. And they use this residual network for implementing this solution. So moving to the next. So next I'm inviting my colleague Subhajit to explain how the Danish Business Authority applied this whole framework in phases.
Thanks, Alok. Hi, everyone. I am Subhajit Das. I am going to discuss how DBA used this fourth step to implement all 6 dimensions of the framework for explaining the behavior of black box AI system. These 4 steps are choosing the AI model and setting goals, understanding and controlling the training data, controlling input and output data, setting and AI applications environment boundaries. Next slide. First step, choosing the AI model and setting goals. To ensure that an AI application meets user requirements, developer must carefully choose the systems models and goals, taking account of the need of to able to explain outcome in a specific case. Clearly, the demand for an explainable model depends the type of project. For the company registration application, the DBA opted for an explainable model because users must be able to understand readily why the algorithm has raised a red flag for a newly registered company. When choosing goals and performance metrics for an AI applications, our DBA interviews emphasize that there is no silver bullet. Clearly, the successful choice of matrices is highly problem specific and requires both through understanding the data and that domain expertise. Next slide. The second step is understanding and controlling the training data. Training data is the important part. Training data plays a key role in determining how AI applications work once deployed. Controlling training data requires access to sufficient quantities of data, knowledge, and depth in the knowledge in which they are operating, including inherent biases and limitations. To guarantee high quality training data for both the signature and company registration AI applications, the DBA opted to tag a large body of data manually using domain expertise and consultant in this process. The machine learning labs method for controlling training data enable it to track changes in AI applications behavior. This is especially important for countering data drift. To retain control over training data, DBA has opted for batch training, not self-learning. Next slide. Next step is controlling input and output data. Controlling input and output data focuses on understanding what goes into and what comes out of an AI application. Similar to controlling training data input, control emphasizes the quality of the data processed by the model. For instance, in a project involving citizens upload photos of personal identification documents, rotating the photos before feeding them into the model improve the model's performance significantly. Action may be automated or done manually. For example, caseworkers using signature applications manually check documents that the applicant judged to be incomplete and where the model has expressed low confidence in the correctness of his decision. These outputs are very easy to verify. Caseworkers can determine the completeness of a document by glancing through the relevant fields. Next slide. The last step, which is setting an AI application's environment boundaries. The environment boundaries of the DBA AI applications are set through combination of technological mechanisms and managerial controls. However, expert users can gradually develop better rules and tune the boundaries threshold. It is also noteworthy that the boundary for the AI application need not coincide with the boundary between the organization and external environment. An internal boundary can limit an AI application's effect on the organization's internal operations. For example, the output from the signature projects are passed onto another internal agent who continues the processing of the documents deemed by applications to have a valid signature. Next slide. From the DBA case studies, we can say that the DBA case study demonstrates that taking account of all 6 dimensions of the framework for explaining the behavior of AI systems enable the successful and responsible deployment of various AI applications, even black box algorithms that are not technically explainable. The next topic will be taken care by Shruti Sharma.
Thanks, Shubhaji. And I'll be presenting the recommendation for the practitioners, which is given by the authors of the research article, which is based on the Danish Business Authority case study. So the first recommendation is implementation of strict controls on the use of black box AI system. So use of inexplicable black box AI system without compromising the safety of operation should be the priority. The implementation of the use of black box AI system should be strictly determined by the application context and whether a comprehensive set of control is available for specific application. For example, if one wants to use a complex AI such as deep neural network, it should be determined that there's a minimal possibility of inscrutability of the system or any increased hazards for the human stakeholders' well-being. Similarly, the AI should not violate any laws with specific requirement for working of the system, which needs to be explained to the users. And the impact of the AI system should be strictly bounded within an internal environment, and its output should be controlled by humans. So, to explain, for example, in the DBA study, the signature application rejects a document only if a human can verify the AI application as valid and assume the responsibility for the action that follows. That is to explain this rejection to a user at the end. The second recommendation is use of modular design to make it easier to explain the behavior of an AI system. So the idea is to break the complex business processes into smaller modules that can be supported by narrow and well-defined AI application. This gives a better control and makes it easier to control and explain the outputs to the outputs of the application. Also, designing an AI application to operate a specific function within a process and not the entire process prevents the AI to obtain the data outside its environment. This in turn ensures high degree of control for developers and users of AI application functionality throughout the development and deployment process. This also creates a greater confidence in the application's output and are well placed to detect deviation early on and diagnose any problem that might occur. The third recommendation is to avoid online learning if the need for explanation, that is to the user end user, is a priority. So although online learning is very appealing for the AI application, but that have high needs to adapt to the environmental changes, and it makes it more difficult to monitor and explain how such an application function. An AI application that learn while operating actually poses a risk of introducing biases that is not evident from the original design of the system, and this can be challenging to detect and to rectify. Difficulty in testing and understanding the behavior of an AI system that use online learning makes it harder to explain as to how they have produced their outputs or results. For example, the DB opted to train its AI application in a controlled stepwise manner. This approach protects the application from the unintended overfitting and bias that less controlled learning mechanism could easily introduce. However, there's a downside, which is that a AI application which is trained offline may not remain current. The last recommendation is to facilitate continuous open discussion between stakeholders. Organization involves stakeholders with distinct perspectives and expertise in the development of AI application. Involving stakeholders with different backgrounds such as developers, users, etc. can bring out the problem faced by the stakeholders early on. At DBA, mechanisms such as steering committee review improve the management of critical ethics-related repercussions that tend to accompany the introduction of AI technologies. So with this, I'll hand it over to Vinay for conclusions. Thank you.
Thanks, Viti. So I'll be explaining the concluding comment part to brief about need and recommendation for explainable AI and the planning for the future. Today, AI systems have become vital for enhancing efficiency and effectiveness. However, irresponsible implementation can disrupt operations and undermine trust in organization and society. The challenges lie in the complexity of AI application. Developing cutting-edge AI systems that can be easily explained has become increasingly challenging. It is essential to find ways to address this issue and ensure transparency. The Danish Business Authority (DBA) case study offers valuable insights into the responsible deployment of the complex AI systems. By studying their practices, organization can gain knowledge on how to ensure accountability and trust in their own AI implementation. Next slide, please. So now let's dwell into the recommendation for achieving explainable AI and its significance for all organizations. While some businesses may question the need for explainability, there is mounting pressure on the organization to demonstrate accountability. One recommendation is for organization to adopt tools and procedures that enable them to explain how their AI applications reach decisions. This transparency helps build trust and confidence among the stakeholders. Additionally, organizations should consider the issue of um, explainable AI from the early stages of the development and throughout the life cycle of an application. Regular reviews and feedback collection from user and data scientists are crucial to improving the explainability of AI system. By incorporating these practices, organization can ensure that their AI applications are accountable and transparent. Next slide, please. So, looking ahead, organization must proactively plan for the future of explainable AI. They should evaluate and retain AI systems to keep their strategies up to date. This approach helps them stay ahead of the challenges and maintain system explainability. Addressing the caveats of black box AI system is crucial. The provided recommendation for the explaining for their behavior helps organization balance functionality and transparency and harnessing AI performance benefits. Furthermore, effective management of the control choices and boundaries are essential. These factors must be continuously evaluated and adjusted to ensure ongoing system effectiveness and reliability. In conclusion, explainable AI is vital for trust, compliance, and accountability. By adopting insights from DBA case studies, organization can responsibly deploy AI system for a brighter future. Next slide, please. So with this, we are completing the presentation. Thank you.